ninguém provou, não viveu nem nunca amou. Se a vida é curta e o mundo é pequeno, eu vou vivendo, morrendo de amor. Ai, gostoso veneno. Se a vida é curta e o mundo é pequeno, eu vou vivendo, morrendo de amor. Ai, gostoso veneno. Água da fonte, menina na palma da mão, rosa se abrindo, se despetalando no chão. Quem não viu, ninguém provou, não viveu, nem nunca amou. Se a vida é curta e o mundo é pequeno, eu vou vivendo, morrendo de amor. Ai, gostoso veneno. E se a vida é curta e o mundo é pequeno, eu vou vivendo, morrendo de amor. Ai, gostoso veneno.
All right, everybody. Good evening. Well, it seems like we're really live here. I'm going to place on the comments, our guest tonight is Brian Moran. And he is on the East Bay here in the Yay area. Let me go ahead and bring him to the screen. You ready for this? We're not actually have him on the screen because I'm live, not via Zoom, but because we're guaranteed to find other solutions for a common problem. I'm gonna call Mr. Brian Moran right now. Check this out. Because Tamo Junto is a show that finds solutions. Uh-oh. Let me mute it. I'm gonna mute you over here. Brian, do you hear me?
Yes.
How you doing, man?
Great, man. How are you?
Good. You want to go ahead and mute your computer so you don't have two of me talking at the same time?
Please let me figure that out.
Yeah, you just have to mute the computer. Basically, everyone, I was trying to use Zoom to connect to Facebook. So then we would have the beautiful image of Brian, which I see right now. He is looking good in his studio here. And we just heard this first track called Gostoso Veneno. That was recorded by Oakland Samba Revue, and it was written by Ney Lopes. I still hear...
And Wilson Moreira.
Wilson Moreira.
Yeah, like co-composed.
I see. And do you... well, first of all, are you hearing me well?
Well enough.
Well enough. And then I see that we do, and you joined us online here, so we can share this. I'm going to share this live video here on my page as well. And bada bing, bada boom, Brian Moran. Well, first of all, welcome to Tamo Junto SF, a show full of adrenaline and full of last-minute surprises. We had rehearsed this. We got together at 5 o'clock. We watched the check. Everything worked. It was beautiful. And now we're here using the good old phone. But they say that phones will be very useful. And remember someone saying when the regular pay phones was going out of fashion that we would be in trouble if we didn't have phones. When was the last time you used a payphone?
I can't remember, but I think last time I actually found one, it was so decrepit and funky. I was more concerned with the germ transfer than the call quality.
Well, you were right because
and I was ahead of the times.
it was all about the germs, man, and we didn't even know. Well, welcome, and thanks for being available for this. We're here tonight talking mostly about Oakland Samba Revue, which is a fairly new band for the Brazilian scene in the Bay Area, right? How did Oakland Samba Revue come about? I know it's an idea you have in your head for a while now, but you finally got the resources and the musicians to pull it together. How's that?
Well, to try, some of my stories tend to be long stories, so I'm going to try to not make it too long. But I have a band called Grupo Falso Baiano. It's a chorinho group, and we've been around in the Bay Area for 15 years. And during that time, everyone's had a lot of changes in their lives. You know, we got babies and partners and complicated lives. So last year we booked a show, and one person in the band couldn't make it after we agreed to it. And we said, well, maybe we can get a sub. And then a second person couldn't do it. And I looked at the remaining guy, who's my longtime, one of my best buddies, Zach Pitt-Smith.
Oh yeah.
Who's played with many projects, yours included, with Dona Francisca. And I said to him, well, you think we can throw something together? And my version of just throw a little thing together was to write, this elaborate horn parts and full band parts for a samba de gafieira project. And that has a lot to do with the years that I've spent studying samba de gafieira, the dance, with the many amazing people who have come through by way of Brazil Camp. And of course, our local heroes, Wesley Guimarães and Tainá Harvey, and the community of people who are really into that. So it just kind of all fell together around an opportunity to salvage a gig, and then just the thing kind of took off from there.
And we've been interviewing various folks involved with the Brazilian music scene in the Bay Area, and it seems like everyone somehow connects back to Brazil Camp. How was your first experience with Brazil Camp, and how do you define? And I want to send shout outs to Richard Rice, to Mr. Burton, and for the efforts of keeping Brazil Camp alive and together. How long have you've been a long member of Brazil Camp, no?
If everything goes according to plan and I go this year, which is something it'll be my 15th year. And I think every year I say, well, if I go this year, and every year I seem to go.
That's nice.
I mean, I second that shout out. What Rich and Dennis have done for the camp and for the larger Brazilian community is something that is recognized locally, nationally, and internationally. I mean, all the time people will contact me. I mean, I've taught there. I've been a student. I've facilitated. I've done a number of things. And people will, hear that, and then they'll contact me and say, well, how do I go? I'm an amazing, talented Brazilian musician. How do I go? And oftentimes I have to say to them, the wait list is like 4 years long. And the caliber of musicians, I mean, Hermeto, Joyce, Ginga, I mean, it's so many, it goes on and on. I'm missing so many incredible musicians who have been there. And, it's to describe it in a word, it's a congress. I would say that's maybe a better word than a camp. There is camping, but it's like an international congress of some of the world's best Brazilian musicians, dancers, dance teachers, percussionists, people, they've got the directors of the bateria from Mangueira, from Salgueiro, from Mocidade, from every corner of Brazilian musical and dance culture attend this thing. It's amazing.
And for you out there, if you have no idea what California Brazil Camp is, I just put on the comments there the link for the Facebook page for California Brazil Camp. It happens once a year, and I want to say it's the single most important event for the Brazilian scene in San Francisco as well, because it promotes this amazing opportunity for musicians, dancers, teachers, instructors from Brazil to meet up, to compose, to collaborate, and one of the results is Oakland Samba Revue. Who else in Oakland Samba Revue that is part of Brazil Camp, and how did the whole idea come together?
So I met Zach Pittsmith through jazz circles, and he's the one that said, you got to check out this thing, Brazil Camp. And so eventually I got myself there, and man, was I underprepared for how incredible an experience it is. And I can't state that enough. It means literally life-changing. It completely changed my musical and artistic direction. And Brazilian music is the primary focus of what I do. So from that experience, I met Brendan Neutra, who plays bass with us. He plays bass with Marco Silva and many other people. We have different drummers in the group. Sometimes it's Zach Mondlik, who works at the California Jazz Conservatory. Sometimes it's David Flores, who plays with John Santos, among others. We have a trumpet player. I always have a trumpet player, Eric Jacobson, and Henry Hung and Ethan Pyers are three of the trumpet players I often call. Jeff Cressman is our trombone player.
Oh yeah, Jeff Cressman.
Jeff is mixed up in everything. And of course, Zach Pittsmith is our reed player, usually. And we started the project with a friend of mine, another person I met through Brazil Camp, Tatiana Villar, who's currently studying in Spain at the Berklee School of Music. They have a campus in Spain. She's doing her master's program.
That's cool.
And when she left, then I had the opportunity to bring Catia Lund in. And Catia is another Bay Area talent, great singer.
So we're gonna call Catia too. I'm gonna set up a WhatsApp group here, and I'm gonna call you two together. Wait and see.
Oh, beleza.
Galera, para você do Brasil que acabou de se ligar aqui no Tamo Junto, I first want to acknowledge some of the folks that are online with us right now. Grande abraço para Celso Braz da Brasil Best. Esse programa não seria possível sem a Brasil Best Magazine, o seu canal de mídia aqui da comunidade brasileira na Bay Area, brasilbest.com. Dave Rinell is here with us. Diana Strong is here with us. Lívia Gomes, tudo bem, Lívia? Lilian Puga, Matt Gallagher, Betânia. So we have our mighty crowd here at Tamo Junto. I want to go ahead and play a second tune that is from, you guys recorded all of this live, right? How was this recording put together, Brian?
Well, the stuff that you have now is our live recordings that we've put together in conjunction with Jeremy Allen, who's a friend of mine who his company is called Musiquito Musica. Musiquito Music. And so he helped us bring together a recording of a show that we did in Sunnyvale last fall. And so that is what I think all of the audio that you have.
That was at the theater where you guys got the dance. What's the name of the theater?
Sunnyvale Theater.
It is the Sunnyvale Theater. Very cool. Yep. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play Sal and Pimenta, which, spoiler alert, there's an amazing video with a great performance with Wesley and Tainá that you're not going to see right now because my video machine is down. But I'm going to place the link for the YouTube video on the comments. Without further ado, Sal and Pimenta, Oakland Samba Revue.
É tão gostoso, amor. Briguemos, por favor. As luzes das chimas dois, que o melhor vem depois. Se alguém nos condenar, Podemos confessar que nosso prazer é brigar. Podem dizer o que quiser desse modo de pensar que eu não vou brigar. Nem só de beijos vive o homem e a mulher. Com a pimenta e o sal e um pouquinho não faz mal. Que nunca brigou, fingiu amar por certo e não amou. Como mata assanhada que passa com braço fazendo pirraça, menino inocente, pegando com cego da gente. Que mulata sonhada que passa com braço fazendo pirraça, menino inocente, tirando o sossego da gente. Ah, mulata, meu e se o meu dinheiro desse, eu comprava sem pensar este céu na terra em cima. Ela finge que não sabe que tem feitiço no olhar. Beija-me, beije teu rosto coladinho ao meu. Beija-me, eu dou a vida pelo beijo todo teu. Ai, beija-me, quero sentir o teu perfume. Beija-me com todo teu amor. Senão eu morro de ciúme. Ai, 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 que coisa boa. O beijinho do meu bem, dito assim parece à toa. O feitiço que ele tem, ai, 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 que coisa boa. Que docinho divinal, quando eu ponho a minha boca nos teus lábios de coral. Me beija, me beija, me beija, me beija, me beija, me beija.
Wow, wow, wow. Sal and Pimenta. This was recorded live at the Sunnyvale Theater, right here in the Bay Area, Oakland Samba Revue. I'm here live with Brian Moran. Brian, are you still alive?
Unfortunately.
No, that's for what's that about? Are you trying to escape? Are you trying to escape the challenges of this planet to go somewhere nicer and better? Is that what you're trying to do?
That's my Corona-19 dark side that peeped out.
I know, man. Actually, one thing that we've been doing here in the show, it's like to try to shine a light, like a ray of sunshine, as Mr. Trevor Noah likes to say, on the coronavirus situation. But before I want to go ahead and try to call Catia Lund to join us. But in order to do that, I have to set up a little group here on WhatsApp. So one question that we've been asking our guests here, most folks I've been talking to, they're musicians. And most musicians, they work from home. They have their studio, as you have your home studio. I have my home studio. We have the equipment in the house because that's where the magic kind of happens. And then we live off producing and then performing. Performing became really hard. All events were canceled. And unfortunately, we're going through a situation that apparently will not be back to what we knew. And but at the same time, a lot of positive it's coming out of this grand pause. What for you has been your coronavirus lesson of the week?
That's a good question. I am reminded of how different, we all experience things. How, within, for example, the music and dance community that we have a lot of overlap in. You can have a room full of people listening to one band and all dancing together, but people internally, we all kind of feel things differently, express things differently, and we have different needs. And people, I think, are going through this experience in ways that are different from one another, that are new to them. Some people are better suited to respond to this, and some people are totally taken off guard, and we're all trying to figure this out. And I think what we were talking about in the pre-show about, life was just on full speed, and here in the Bay Area, it's very expensive to live here. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of stimuli, and suddenly it's like we just threw the brakes on, And it's just kind of really, I think for me, it's shown me a lot about, I don't know, who and what I am, and how I respond to this. And I, you know, I'm connected to the community of people and circle of friends as you are, and to see how those people are responding. And it's, you know, we're all learning something totally new that none of us were prepared to learn for. And it's really, I don't know, it's a beautiful and scary thing.
Right. Yeah, I'm more on the beautiful thing lately, because it is scary. I can't deny, and we are trying to get ready, but we don't know where to start. uh I guess I've tried to put this together and keep connecting to my friends, because that's the best way I can keep my sanity, and talk about good music, which is really the reason why my existence I feel that way. At least I feel like my existence is deeply connected with playing and listening to music, and using that as this universal uh, uh, vehicle of communication that we've been blessed with. And in the Bay Area, it's so magical how diverse and beautiful all the cultures mixed together, and that is reflected in the music too. Where are you originally from, Brian, and how did you get involved with Brazilian music in the first place?
I'm from New Jersey originally, and I've been in the Bay Area since 1998, I think. And I was playing 7-string jazz guitar.
Really?
And,
I can see that.
and I met Zach Pittsmith, as I mentioned, and he turned me on to some, you know, violão sete cordas, Brazilian traditional 7-string guitar music. I had totally never heard of anything like it, and I just got seduced by it.
It is very beautiful. And do you have like a classic guitar background? Did you study quite a bit before you met the Brazilianity side of things?
What I studied was the closest, the tool that was most helpful for me was Joe Pass, the American jazz guitar player, because he had a whole side of his career, probably the side that people know him best for, where he played either solo guitar or he accompanied a singer like Ella Fitzgerald. And his style of combining bass lines and chords is very similar to what you need to do to play sete cordas. And so that was kind of my background. But what happened was I was playing jazz guitar, and I started just playing wedding gigs to make some money. And at the last moment, a bride would say, "Oh, can you just play like Canon in D or some classical guitar?" And I knew nothing about any of that stuff. So I would have to scramble and find a guy, you know, "Hey, can you drive to Stockton?" And there'd be no budget. You know, I'd say like, "Yeah, I got $200 to play 3 songs," because I didn't know how to do it. So eventually I said, "This is ridiculous." And I learned how to play classical guitar and that sort of finger style. And that was kind of the thing that, when combined with this Joe Pass background, was kind of the gateway into traditional Brazilian music, choro, samba, that sort of thing.
That's cool. I was able to get this group together here, and why don't we do this? I'm going to play one more track, which is Forró de Dois Amigos, because besides having the choro influence, the samba jazz, bossa, and the gafieira and everything, there is also a little something of Northeast, like o sabor nordestino. And Katia can also talk to us a little bit more about her addition, her little spice of Northeast Brazil here at the Oakland Samba Revue. This next one is Forró de Dois Amigos, and we'll be right back with Brian Moran and Catia Lund here at Tamo Junto. Don't go anywhere, folks. It's happening one way or the other. All right, everyone. So this was Forró de Dois Amigos. And now I'm going to call this group here. Let's see if I can call both of them. There you go. It's ringing. Alô?
Hello.
Quem está falando?
Hello.
Brian?
Yep.
I hear you. Catia?
Yep, I'm here.
We're all here together. Oh, nice. All right. So, guys, it's a pleasure to bring Catia here with us as well. Tudo bem, Catia? Podemos falar português, então? O Brian já sabe português pra caramba, cara. A gente pode falar português aqui o dia inteiro, não é, não?
Ah, obrigado, cara.
E aí, ó, eu quero mandar um abraço aqui, ó. Nosso amigo Chris Thomas tá na live. A Alexander Moll is here with us. Regis, diretamente do Brasil. Vanessa Moraes. Reminding everyone, o programa não seria possível sem Brasil Best Magazine. É o nosso patrocinador aqui e o veículo de mídia da comunidade brasileira em São Francisco. Brasilbest.com é o canal. Outra coisa que a gente queria dar um toque aqui na rapaziada é sobre o Centro de Cultura Brasileira em Berkeley, também conhecido como Casa de Cultura, ou nas mídias e online, também como a galera gosta de chamar, Brasarte. E para falar um pouco da Brasarte, eu gostaria de perguntar para a Catia. Catia, qual é a sua participação lá e o que você define como, o que representa a Brasarte para a cultura brasileira aqui na Bay Area?
E aí, Paulo, tudo bem? Boa noite. Boa noite, galera. A Brasarte, para mim, ou seja, o que representa para mim pessoalmente é a minha casa, né? É o meu pedacinho de Brasil na Bay Area, com a missão realmente de manter a cultura brasileira viva, né? E genuína, né? Não só a transformação, porque realmente eu acho bacana a música brasileira misturada, mas relembrar também para os brasileiros da nossa raiz, né? Eu acho que essa é realmente a função da Brasarte, trazendo a cultura, a arte da maneira que seja, dança, música, pintura, eles estão sempre investindo nisso.
Bacana. E você era coordenadora lá de programação? Você cuidava da parte de eventos? Qual era o seu papel?
Bom, título é muito título, né? Na verdade, eu cheguei lá para dar uma força. E acabei
Não é assim que todo mundo chega?
né, não, eu cheguei lá assim para ajudar. Um dia eu fui para ajudar a ficar de mané na porta, entendeu? No evento. De repente, quando eles compraram, ganharam uma doação para comprar um equipamento de som. E aí fiquei assim, eu fiquei preocupada com o equipamento de som, mesmo sem saber mexer. Eu falei, esse equipamento sempre sai, então quando eu estiver aqui, eu fiquei lá então de protetora, na verdade, do equipamento de som, para que realmente
alguém tem que tomar conta do negócio lá,
né, pelo menos para não perder, não quebrar, entendeu? E a galera poder também ter acesso, porque isso também é bacana, que realmente que a galera que vai lá para fazer um som e que tem um equipamento, né, bacana e de qualidade. Mas basicamente era o que eu fazia, ajudava na promoção, comecei a ajudar na promoção de shows e comecei a fazer uns shows. Até, na verdade, tudo começou quando a Conceição me viu numa canja que eu fui dar lá na Brasarte, e aí ela pediu para fazer um show tipo de 60 anos da Bossa Nova. E tem uns 2 anos atrás eu fiz aquele show com o Ricardo Peixoto, foi quando até conheci ele. Foi assim, começou a
adoro o
minha
Ricardo
viagem.
Peixoto. E galera, deixa eu te falar uma coisa. Eu consegui conectar o Zoom na internet. Então, guys, if you're here with us right now, I would like you to please go back on the page, and there is a new video now with the images. And now I'm going to release the audio because I did a little dribbling here in the system. So I'm going to stop the video that we're on right now. And then everyone, please jump onto the next link. I see there's 15 people here with us. If you just go back and re-link to the live, and you'll be able to see Brian and Catia here with me. So I'm going to end this one. Ending. And then we're going to turn right onto the other one. Haha. E aí, galera, do you hear me now? Just 1 second. This is all very new to me. So I'm gonna unmute Catia and Brian. Do you hear me now, guys?
Eu tô vendo.
Okay, and then Brian, let me unmute Brian here. I see. Unmute. Oh, you're not. Brian, can you unmute yourself? There you go.
All right.
All right, we're back in business. We're back in the business. So, well, now you can see. Do you see yourselves on the Facebook thing there? So then we can reshare. We can reshare the show. This is pretty crazy, to be frank with you guys. But now I have. Oh, there you go. Right here. I'm gonna tag you, Brian. Brian Moran. There you go. And Catia. So then we can reshare. Oh, I see Jennifer just reshared us as well. Okay, we're back. And I see Joe, I see Jennifer, I see Matt Gallagher. So we're in the business. Now, going back to Brasarte, your involvement with Brasarte, Brian, started with dance classes? Or was it before that, even with performances for Lavagem?
You know, I mean, I lived in San Francisco for 10 years, and to be honest, maybe I didn't even know it existed. And when I moved to the East Bay, and I find that out a lot. I'm always surprised, and I realize, like, for those of us who know that space and we love it, we spend so much time there, sometimes we think everybody knows. We all know about Brasarte.
True that.
And then you find out, oh, people don't even know it exists. You know, how do you not know? It's like the only, it's Brazil. It's only Brazilian culture. There's capoeira and all the things you mentioned, dance classes, musical performances. It's incredible. And I don't know any other space that is 100% dedicated to Brazilian activities in the Bay Area. So I started going there. To tell you the truth, this is the truth of the gringo experience is I was in Brazil camp, and when you're like, all right, yeah, tá swingando, great, and all the Brazilians are like, great, and then they just throw you in the middle of the Honda, and they're like, oh, samba,
Samba gringo,
samba gringo, and you're like, oh, shit.
It looks like almost like the old West movies that they throw you in the middle of the saloon and
say, the next year I went back to Brazil camp. I took a class. Started taking dance classes, and then I found out that some of the teachers who were at Brazil camp were doing workshops and activities and classes at Brasarte before or after the camp, which happens in August. If anyone's interested. So sometimes like Brazil camp brings these artists, and then the artists kind of do other activities. So I started taking classes, and I met Alvaro Reis, who's an incredible teacher and one of the OGs for gafieira and everything. I took forró classes and so forth, samba no pé, and
Yeah, no,
so,
big shout out, for some of the very important names of Brazilian culture in the Bay. We talked about the California Brazil camp. We're talking about Brasarte, and it's really something. Se você é brasileiro, se você está escutando essa transmissão agora e você tá aqui na Bay Area e depois desse isolamento você quer se enturmar, cara, saca o que tá rolando lá na Brasarte. Eu tenho certeza que tem uma programação online agora, com classes remotas. Eu sei que o Wesley e a Tainá estão fazendo alguma coisa nesse momento e estão promovendo a cultura brasileira aqui na Bay Area. Speaking of Wesley and Tainá, now that we got video back up, I would like to share the dance performance, because samba de gafieira, I dance forró, and I feel like forró, it's simple. For me, I learned it's e dois, and then we do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and that's it. But there's none of that super fancy shenanigans and throw the girl up in the air, that stuff. Mm-hmm. And samba de gafieira, it's way more, I feel, refined and more complex type of ballroom dance. And I want to be able to show some folks here the partnership that Wesley and Tainá did during one of your live performances.
And can I jump in before
Please.
You do?
Yeah.
So what you're going to see is a stage performance of gafieira, and stage performance of gafieira, like you said, you're throwing partners around. It's pretty extreme. But my experience, I think gafieira is people are intimidated by it, and they shouldn't be, because because I think we all know, if you dance forró, when you dance forró and the tempo seems manageable, it's a shorty, it's a medium forró, you're like, great. Right, yeah. But when someone is like, and it's a forró, if you're not nimble on your feet, you're kind of screwed no matter what.
and there are the different marks on the floor too, like there are different shapes and stuff.
For gafieira?
For gafieira, right? No.
The shapes are different, but I think the thing is, all the dance teachers tell you the same thing. It's like, you have to make the basic step feel good before it makes, before you do anything else. And I think in forró, people will do the basic and it's enjoyable for both. But for some reason in gafieira, people often feel like the basic is like, it's not cool, it's not sexy, or we got to do something else. And if you said, I'm going to do the basic plus like 2 or 3 other steps, to me, the two things are very similar and both have the same challenge, which is that when the tempo starts like pop, 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 like,
it's go time.
It's a challenge. Yeah. And that's the thing, is I think samba is a little bit different in that when samba really expresses its identity, it tends to be medium and fast tempo, because if it's slower, it's, is it bossa nova time? And there's samba artists who are like, no, man, it's samba canção. Like, I thought that was a bossa nova. But forró, it's like, we just call that shorty, and it's still like in the forró family.
Umbrella, yeah.
So you can do everything you knew. I don't know.
All
I'm
right,
on a
so
crusade.
let's before we continue our dance debate here, which I love. Like I'd rather have dance debates all my life than watching the news. I would like to show the video of Sal e Pimenta with
Vamos
Wesley and
mostrar.
Tainá aqui. Simbora. Play, baby,
É tão gostoso, amor. Briguemos, por favor. As rusgas de nós dois, que o melhor vem depois. Se alguém nos condenar, podemos confessar que nosso prazer é brigar. Podem dizer o que quiser desse modo de pensar, que eu não vou brigar. Nem só de beijos vive o homem e a mulher. Com a pimenta e o sarro, que um pouquinho não faz mal. Quem nunca brigou, fingiu amar por certo e não amou. Como nada assanhada, que passa com graça, fazendo pirraça, fingindo inocente, pegando com o cego da gente. Que mulata sonhada, que passa com graça, fazendo pirraça, fingindo inocente, tirando o sossego da gente. A mulata se oferece, e se o meu dinheiro desce, eu comprava sem pensar este céu, esta terra, esse mar. Ela finge que não sabe, que tem feitiço no olhar. Beija teu rosto coladinho ao meu. Beija-me. Eu dou a vida pelo beijo todo teu. Ai, beija-me. Quero sentir o teu perfume. Ah, beija-me com todo teu amor. Senão eu morro de ciúmes. Ai, 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 que coisa boa. O beijinho do meu bem. Dito assim parece à toa. O feitiço que ele tem. Ai, 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 que coisa boa. Que docinho divinal. Quando eu ponho a minha boca nos teus lábios final. Me beija, me beija, me beija, me beija, me beija,
Did you see that? Oh yeah. So I'm serious about that thing. Did you see Wesley throwing Tainá up on his shoulder and everything, man?
It happened.
That's something. And well, let me start the video of myself here. There you go. And now let's talk about the partnership with Musiquito Music, which is the logo that shows at the end of the video there. You guys, what kind of partnership you have with Musiquito Music on the production of this particular video?
Jeremy is a bass player, as well as being a videographer, and I played with him briefly in a band that he started that was called Kiherama, which was a combination of three names of the three people who started the band. And I got to know him, and he's just like super talented. He wears every hat, and he's an amazing guy. Like, if you need video production work, I can't recommend him highly enough. He has top gear. He's a total pro, and he was just a no-brainer. And actually what happened was, now that I think about it, I was doing some curating work at Ashkenaz, and the director at the time there, Brandy Brandis, who's also an old friend of mine and an amazing person, she coordinated with me around the Berkeley World Music Festival to do some video work in conjunction with Chachado Mission.
Yeah.
And
to Andrea França.
Exactly. And so we did a thing, and we needed to record it. So we brought in Jeremy and Musiquito. And so he helped us out on the Sunnyvale project.
Very cool. Kátia, let me ask you da sua brasilidade aí. Você é da onde no Brasil?
Eu sou carioca da gema.
Carioca da gema, mulher. E
É.
você já trabalhava com música no Rio de Janeiro? Quando você chegou na Bay Area?
E eu cheguei na Bay Area em dezembro de 2012. Eu queria ficar com meu gatinho. Se o mundo acabasse em 2012, eu falei, eu vou para aí.
Os maias, eles estavam... dizem as más línguas que os maias eram disléxicos e, na verdade, o mundo vai acabar em 2021.
Pode ser, né?
É.
Agora a gente até acredita.
Tomara que você esteja com o seu gatinho.
Tô. Eu vim pra cá em 2012. Eu acabei mudando para Miami e depois não gostei de morar lá. Adorei o clima, tá na praia, né? Que era o meu. Eu tenho que estar perto do mar sempre. E aí voltei, né? Para Bay Area. Foi difícil voltar, porque a vida aqui, como a gente sabe, é muito cara, muito difícil.
É
mas
quente
voltei.
o negócio aqui.
Mas voltei feliz para sempre. E aí foi quando eu reconectei também, porque na minha primeira temporada eu conheci alguns músicos, eu comecei a me conectar e aí perdi contato, né? Aí comecei uma galera nova lá em Miami, super bacana. Toquei com uma banda de reggae lá em Miami. E aí depois voltei para cá. E até quando eu conheci a Brasarte por uma amiga americana, que foi que me chamou. É engraçado como a comunidade, na verdade, a Brasarte é cheia de americano que ama a cultura brasileira. Muito menos brasileiros, e a brasileirada daqui não conhece, na verdade. Estou te falando porque eu fui panfletar um show, a gente fez um tributo para Elis Regina, foi um outro show bacana que eu montei lá com a Lau, com Ricardo Peixoto, Marco Silva, foi super bacana. E quando eu fui panfletar na nossa eleição, um monte de gente que era vizinho da Brasarte olhou assim um panfleto. Onde é que é isso? São Pablo, gente, University, não tem outro lugar.
Vou jogar uma lenha na fogueira aqui, porque we were speaking with Carlos Borges the other day from Bahia, great event producer and journalist in Miami. He's been like super representative of the Brazilian culture in Florida. And he said something that, for years we've been, kind of orbitating and debating. The big Brazilian, the thick of the community does not really appreciate the Brazilian culture of, I don't want to necessarily say higher standards, or he wanted to call it quality versus non-quality. And I kind of refuse doing that, because who am I to say what's quality and what's not quality? But it is indeed a fact that our gringo counterparts are the folks that really dig Brazilian culture coming from America, Europe, and other places. They dig the more quality stuff, meaning bossa nova, samba de gafieira, choro, the more the bigger complexity and the more sophisticated Brazilian arts. And there's something to be said about the Brazilians that prefer the more popular approach, sertanejo, baile funk, and forró estilizado. Brian, you as an admirer of Brazilian music and a very sophisticated musician that I know you are, your admiration for the Brazilian composers versus what now you see with sertanejo universitário and this more like simplified in the can Brazilian music that's coming out and it's big mainstream now. Why you think that you don't see a lot of Brazilians digging that rich history of our culture?
That's a great question. That's kind of that's the nut to crack that many of us have not been able to crack. And I think, I mean, I've chosen to see the community around like the community around the people who we have shared interests. And I don't want that at all to come off to say like it's a snobby thing, like, oh, we like the fancy thing. No, because the heart is there. You know, when you're in a room full of people and they're appreciating whether it's a show or it's a forró dance thing, the heart in the room, you feel it, you know. And it's one of the hardest things about the quarantine is, like, you know, people, the hugs come easy.
Yeah.
And I think to me, that's what I'm interested in, you know. And if there's a community of people who like a kind of music, and in going to see shows, they don't feel like that they want to connect with other people, like, personally, that doesn't really interest me. I want to go to a place where I feel like there are just people who are not my friends yet.
Very diplomatic answer. I like it.
Right?
I like it. Very good.
Yeah,
very
because
good.
look, just bringing more sal y pimenta to the conversation. When you go to like recently we have had big names of the popular Brazilian music coming in as tribalistas, shows that I've been, you know, and other shows that me personally, I would say I'll pass, you know, but I was dying to watch Djavan. I was so happy, you know, to have the opportunity to live this life and have Djavan, you know, in front of me playing
it
for
will
me.
happen. It will happen.
It will, and I'll live for that.
Yes, please. We got a
I
date in
still
September.
have my tickets. Actually, I still have my
Nice.
tickets.
Yeah,
I
hang
did
on to
not
your
refund.
tickets.
Absolutely. And
Oh,
so
man.
over there on those shows, you can see all the Brazilian community, you know, you see, absolutely. I see people that are just, you know, friendly, but you can see people, you know, singing along and, you know, so there is, you know, the Brazilian community comes together and does appreciate. And I think, like you said, because we have our styles are so, you know, different.
Very wide.
Even in Brazil, you know, you have segments, you know, and I believe you are from my generation that I remember we did not listen any Brazilian music at all.
I started listening to Brazilian music in college because my whole childhood I was a metal guy. You know, we were talking about the MTV generation. I'm totally MTV. During my childhood in the 80s and adolescence in the 90s, I was hooked up on radio. And I was consuming a lot of just American stuff and European things. Then I finally meet someone in college that, you know, like I went through the hippie process. They brought me in, they offered me drugs. They said, you're going to get high. And then they started showing me the records. And, oh, here's this dude, Raul Seixas, man. And so I had I had to rediscover all Brazilian music later on in life, which was really incredible. One thing I wanted to touch here, Catia, you did mention, and we'll be mentioning this over and over again. To live in the Bay Area, it's really expensive. And we were already going through a very tough gentrification process in San Francisco, also the East Bay around, and we're experiencing that firsthand as artists, as family people that we are, with kids, with, you know, and the coronavirus came to hit a very sensitive spot. Most musicians I know, they live off their calendars because it's like all gig related economy. We don't have an employer. We live off doing shows, teaching classes, and doing all those things. And it's been indeed a very complicated situation for all the musicians in the Bay Area that were already facing difficulties to stay here and to keep producing and performing here, and now more than ever. One of the reasons we're doing this show as well is to shine a light on all our local Bay Area musicians that are going through a lot and they're still composing and producing, because we can't stop doing what we love doing. Brian, I remember reading a post of yours on Facebook that was really something like, yeah, I saved for a rainy day, but not a shit storm. This is really something. How are you coping with the financial side of things as a musician? And what strategies you're planning to start hitting in different directions here?
uh, well, it's been, one of the things that's been wild is the AB5 law, which I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yes, I am.
Yes,
I heard
okay.
that we were pulled aside just recently. You hear that?
Yeah, so freelance musicians, of which I am very much a freelancer, but in the past year, I have started to work with organizations doing some teaching in different schools, and those organizations are kind of on the cusp, and based on the new ruling, maybe they could be exempted, but probably not. So because they classified me as an employee about a year ago, even though I do 16 weeks of work a year, and of those 16 weeks, I work about like 3 hours a week. It's like so small, but because of the law, I am an employee, which means that my unemployment insurance is based on the income from such a small amount of work, and as a
Right.
result, that money is really small. But then there's this $600 a week thing we're all supposed to get if you qualify. So
Is
there's
that on top of unemployment, or that's
yeah, so that's supposed to be a flat thing that if
I
because
haven't
of
seen it yet.
so yeah, so on Tuesday, if you are an artist, the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program or something like that, PUA, they accept applications on Tuesday. So if you're an artist like myself who's not W-2'd, in other words, if you don't receive a W-2, then you should apply for
Should
that.
be
And
able to apply that. Yeah,
yeah,
all right.
and my understanding is if you did get a W-2, they're going to check on that, and if there is money for you, no matter how small, in the traditional unemployment, that's where you're going to get that money. And however, both people receiving traditional unemployment insurance, and the PUA, if you are beneath a certain threshold, you'll also get $600 weekly for some period of time. And obviously we're all asking questions about that. Is it, are they going to run out of money? How long is this all
Right.
going to go
Right.
for? Many questions, but so that's an important factor, because I mean, just like you said, my calendar just went to zero. And unfortunately, a lot of the organizations that I worked for, I've been either furloughed or whatever you want to call it. So they're not paying. So I have a couple private students. I've more than a couple. I've been lucky to have a few hours of lessons a week. But I've again, I feel like this keeps coming back to my real tight core group of people that includes Rebecca Kleinman, who plays with you in Donna Francisca. Rebecca and Zach circulated to me a online musical collaboration at the very beginning of the quarantine, using the Acapella app.
Yeah, I heard amazing things about acapella. We just talked to a music teacher in Moran, and the whole school turned to acapella.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and it's amazing, and it's very challenging because for one, you have one take to, like, you can't edit. It's warts and all.
It makes you practice your butt off, doesn't it?
And if you collaborate with other people, you have to use a click track,
Right.
So, and then you have the app itself, because normally, in a studio, you can say, I want the click track to sound like a tamborim or surdu, or make it do this, make it do that. You have far fewer options, and there's other sort of technical issues. And to acknowledge the work that the people, I guess, at Acapella what they are trying to do is pretty audacious, to think that you can, create this app I was just thinking, Jeremy from Musiquito Media was just explaining to me that when you make any kind of audio and video product, you usually record the audio and then you record the video and then you just put them together.
Yep.
Depending on the very subtle differences between machinery, things like the time will float, where you begin both things at one part and like 5 minutes later, when you look at what happens, they're out of sync with one another. And that's very, very common. And how you go back in, you have to go to the audio file and like cut it up and like
Oh man, we're getting too technical. No.
Yeah, let's not go. It's the worst part of making music. It's not music.
Yeah. Well, but you know, and that all revolved, and you see how passionate Brian is, because in times of Corona and the gigging economy going, you know, that direction, the AB5 hitting the freelance musicians, you know what Brian does? He puts together a 10-piece band. And and we were also talking about that the other day, how hard it is for you to actually keep Oakland Samba Revue together. It's a big band playing Brazilian music, which still does not attract a massive amount of ticket buyers, and you're still, you know, keeping it up and writing arrangements and running after good shows for the band. What keeps that alive? What is that for you that makes it really worth to put your effort and time on this?
I can say easily the number one reason, and this was probably the biggest surprise, is the musicians, Catia among them. Everyone has said to me, like, wow, this is like one of my, you know, favorite projects I get to play in. Like, the music is so fun to play. The musicians really love it. And as we know, the economics of a larger band are difficult. And so sometimes you got to say to people at the end of the night, like, there's not a ton of money, you know, we got to divide it up among a lot of people. And generally speaking, guys are like, they all want to come back. When's the next one? You know, so I owe so much gratitude to the guys who have.
So cool, man.
Yeah.
And I encourage you to please put on the comments the Venmo handle for yourself or for the band, and everyone out there, the 12 mighty people that we have here. And I see Tita Lima is in there. Tita Lima owns Alibi, which is a club down close to LA that we're talking about when things reopen to do things there, including Oakland Samba Revue. Matt Gallagher, Bola, Lilian Puga, Rebecca Kleiman, Livia, everyone. If you guys have a little something to help, we're dropping our Venmo handle right there, and please donate, because we need it. It's just like flat out serious. We're not joking. We need the money. We can use it. It's something. But speaking of that passion and the feeling that the musicians have, that satisfaction of, oh wow, I'm really part of this great project. I have a video that you posted here, Coração Leviano, that was shot by Marcia, right? Marcia, let me just Kisses. Marcia is one of those Brazilians that really appreciate the quality music we've been talking about, and she comes out and supports every performer I know in the Bay. She's amazing, and this video was shot at Brasarte in one of the live shows you guys been doing there, right? Tell us a bit more about Oakland Samba Revue and Brasarte. You guys did a couple of shows there, correct, Catia?
Yeah. Like Brian said, first, Brian always tried to keep the band playing at least religiously, you know, once a month, just to make sure that the arrangements, which is not that easy, people are on top and we are keeping playing to keep fresh, right? It's like he actually said, and I can speak for myself, I just love the repertoire, you know, for me particularly, you know, to sing those songs, you know, that it's not the classical, you know, rice and beans, you know, repertoire that most of the time, being a Brazilian singer, it's what I am requested, right, to do. And I came from, I'm a musician since I was 10. It was when I started to study music. I studied musical therapy. I lived in Mexico, and what maintained me over there was singing bossa nova. And I never sang for Brazilians. right? I always sang for, you know, foreign. So it was always that classical. For more that I could bring some other stuff, but I could never enjoy really, you know, the repertoire that I like to sing. And then, you know, came years later, yada, yada, yada. Here we are today, you know, doing Samba Revue with Djavan, you know, with forró, with samba, you know, and really up-to-date tunes that, man, it's delightful, really, you know, and
There
see
you
the
have
people
it.
dancing, you know,
Yeah.
and in the big band, it feels really
It's
good.
the encounter of good Brazilian vibes, good Brazilian music at a space that we all should support and honor. Brazarte. Without further ado, let me share with you Coração Leviano, Oakland Samba Revue. Hey, that was Coração Liviano that all of a sudden ended. Let me bring everyone back here, including myself. And so just reminding folks that this was shot live at Brazarte, and it shows a little bit of our community center and how we're starting from the ground up. I would like to thank you guys so much for being here with me tonight. We're getting to the end of our hour. Tamo junto, SF, community media, here live on Facebook every night from 8 to 9. Tonight we had Oakland Samba Revue with Brian Moran and Catia Lund. Before we go, I would like to remind everyone about the census. Yeah, we did talk about the census. If you have received in the mail communication from the federal government, it's a little blue letter. You receive a code, and then please go on the website census2020.org and complete that. This only happens every 10 years, and the data generated here is used for federal funding distribution. So it's really important that you do make yourself count. Todos contamos. We all count, folks. And it's really important that we go in there and fill out our forms and tell them all the data. It's like anonymous. I don't know how do I say anonymous in English, Brian?
Anonymous.
Anonymous. There you go. So all the information is anonymous. They're not going to try to do anything with it, and it's really important because historically, communities of immigrants, Latinos, Asian, Brazilians, they are undercounted. They're undercounted because we're afraid of putting our data there, and then we're misrepresented. So it's important that they know that we're present and we need to be counted. So Census 2020, do it now. Also, big shout out to Brazil Best Magazine. We need to trust our sources for news these days. And I know Celso Brás personally and the hard work he does to keep on reporting in our community. BrazilBest.com is your channel for information in the Brazilian community in the Bay Area. Big shout out to everyone at Brasarte e toda a galera que está aqui com a gente online nesse momento. Tita Lima. Tita Lima is saying that nothing is anonymous in the world anymore. Do you agree with that, Brian?
I count on it.
Oh my God. Big shout out to Bola that's in San Jose living his quarantine with us. And Carla Lopes, Matt Gallagher, João Souza, and everyone that's been here with us tonight. Brian, would like to thank you very much for keeping it up with Oakland Samba Revue and Falso Baiano, for being an enthusiast and such active participant of the Brazilian music scene in the Bay Area. It's a pleasure to share this scene with you and to be alive during your music making years, man. Really fun to have you. You want to say goodbye to anyone out there?
Yeah, I mean, well, some of my, I am one of the bolsistas at Brasarte for a dance program. So some of my bolsista crew are here. My ladies here somewhere. And just amazing friends and family. And, thank you. And for anyone who's interested about this project or learning more about, the kind of samba that we're doing, we have a Facebook page, we have an Instagram, we have a website. It's all just Oakland Samba Revue. So come, like the page and, be whatever it is, follow us on Facebook or Instagram. I guess, all this stuff counts. And we, try to upload some tasty content. And when all this ends, we will have some shows. So come out and we would love to dance and play music with you.
Patronize Oakland Samba Revue, everyone, so we can get this band to where they deserve to be. And it's coming, I know it's coming. Catia, muito obrigado, grande beijão, espero que você esteja tranquilinha aí na sua quarentena. Qual foi a luz da quarentena para você aí essa semana? Alguma realização, assim, a gente anda conversando com o povo e a galera tá agora nessa de let's dive into ourselves, e a galera da meditação, tá? Eu tô tentando meditar, mas às vezes é complicado. Você descobriu alguma coisa bacana que você, se não fosse a quarentena, não tinha rolado para você?
Eu tô curtindo, eu tenho assim, eu tô numa situação bastante diferente, delicada, história, um papo para aquela cerveja quando tudo isso acabar, né? E o Brian tá ligado. Eu tô curtindo muito, tu tá ligado? Eu tô curtindo muito, assim, para mim, pessoalmente, é um momento, assim, genial que o nosso clima realmente esteja favorecendo todo esse momento, entendeu? De tensão. Eu tô curtindo demais o clima, as flores que estão abrindo, entendeu? A natureza, a quantidade de pássaro que eu tô escutando. Recentemente, eu estou fazendo 1 ano que eu mudei aqui para minha casinha, eu comprei uma casa, assim, sonho realmente da casa própria.
Aleluia!
Aleluia, irmão, e tu sabe como é que é.
Eu sei bem. Eu tô pagando mortgage lá, vai que vai.
Quer dizer, é aquele sonho mesmo, porque tua não vai ser nunca, né? Tu sai dessa terra e tu deixa hipoteca.
Mas deixa.
Mas essa foi a minha realização realmente, assim, podendo dar mais atenção, normalmente naquela vida louca, que eu acho que nunca a gente vai voltar para aquilo mais, porque acho que a gente tem agora outras preferências. Eu realmente não quero ficar mais perdendo 2 horas no trânsito. Eu quero estar fazendo outras coisas, entendeu? Eu também estou fazendo música com músicos, entendeu? Que eu não conectava anos. Galera, assim, uma galera que eu conheci no México e agora estou tendo a oportunidade de tocar junto, galera que eu pude estudar. Enfim, eu acho que é um momento realmente para a gente se dedicar, conectar. Eu agradeço aqui a oportunidade de agradecer a você de botar esse programa.
Tamo junto!
Amigo, é isso. A gente tem que unir. Tem que unir e botar a boca no trombone, né?
Simbora! All right, everyone. Thank you all for being with us tonight. I'm going to leave you with this last track from Oakland Samba Revue called Maltratar Não É Direito. Você aí, ó, não maltrate porque não é direito, viu? Inclusive, fique na sua casinha mais um pouquinho porque a gente pode. Se a gente não pudesse, a gente estava lá brigando. Mas enquanto você pode, fique na sua casa. Maltratar não é direito. Oakland Samba Revue.
Moço, maltratar não é direito. Essa mágoa no meu peito, você sabe de onde vem. Isso é desamor e não tem jeito. Um amor quando desfeito sempre faz alguém chorar. Eu chorei, saudade tá doendo, e lá vem você querendo outra vez me maltratar. Mas moço, maltratar não é direito. Essa mágoa no meu peito, você sabe de onde vem. Isso é desamor e não tem jeito. Um amor quando desfeito sempre faz alguém chorar. Eu chorei, saudade tá doendo, e lá vem você querendo outra vez me maltratar. Amor, só é bom quando é pra dois, eterno. É antes e depois. Agora não vou mais me enganar, não quero mais sofrer louca. Eu tentei viver, se deu vontade de saber, se eu tô feliz eu até posso dizer. Eu levanto, eu assim, assim já vou me reconcentrar. Maltratar não é direito. Essa mágoa no meu peito, você sabe de onde vem. Isso é desamor.
All right, everyone. This was Tamo Junto SF with Moran and Catia Lund, Oakland Samba Revue. Tomorrow, we talk to Rafael Piccolotto de Lima. Rafael Piccolotto de Lima, it's a Brazilian maestro, lives in New York City, and is doing something called the Forró Chamber Orchestra project. You're going to see and listen to arrangements of forró classics into chamber orchestra formats. Really fun. Also, special presence of Tarciso Alves, singer and composer from Pernambuco that now lives in Boston. There you have it. Stay inside, stay safe, keep your mind occupied with good music, good books, good food, talk to your loved ones, enjoy the time because time is not money. Bye. All right, guys, we're off the air. Let me bring you back so I can say a proper goodbye here. Unmute and SSR video. All right. That was, are you guys back?
Here's the interesting thing that happens when you're president.
Yay.
Or when you go through the experience of being president.
That was fun. Sorry for the technical shenanigans, but I think I figured out what it was. One of my computers is having a oscillation on upload speed, and then we couldn't go to the air from this machine. But then in the middle of it, I turned, because I have another laptop here and another one right here. So it's like emergency status. But it was really fun. Thanks for being available for this and for sharing the music and the love for the Brazilianity. Obrigado, Catia. Beijão pra você, viu?
Falou. Tamo aí.
Valeu, Brian.
E continua aí também mantendo a força e vamos continuar em comunicação.
Com certeza.
Eu acho que o próximo passo vai ser realmente, quando começar a aliviar isso, vai ser muita coisa que eu vi o cara do Facebook falando que ele vai fazer muito evento virtual. Então, essa parada de evento virtual é que vai ser a onda.
Eu já agendei a primeira live performance, porque a razão pela qual eu não quero fazer live performance ainda é porque, infelizmente, o setup tem que ser um pouco mais complexo. Like, let's say, for me to accept, and I'm a little audiophile, and if it sounds like you're in front of your laptop playing a guitar without a proper capture device, I will not enjoy listening to the music, even if it's great music. So the way to go about this is really to get the right proper equipment for it, you know, to have, if you guys have an audio interface, that we have proper mics, that we have separation of channels, that we have stuff that, and then we can broadcast something that makes sense and it's good. I'm working with some guys in Brazil.
I have seen places
It's
here
happening.
that they have already, because they had before.
Yep.
You know, like the sound room. I love the quality. I did not even know that we were being recorded when we had the show down there. And then I saw and I said, oh, you know, I'm saying like for real, you know, live stuff.
Yeah, I'm working with someone that's doing like all the drums and the bass, for example. They're doing Ableton. And then the guitarist and the singer are live, but they're in the same house. So they can run everything through a small mixer and then send that signal to me, and then I can broadcast them live to Facebook. We're going to do that on the 28th. We'll see how it sounds. We did a test yesterday, and it sounded okay. So we're hopeful.
Yeah, the thing is that the live, they have some delay. It's really annoying for when you're doing live and you try to hear the live. When you hear the Facebook, you know, broadcast, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, but hopefully I'm diving into this live stream and I'm reading a lot of stuff. So hopefully I can, you know, come up with some idea.
Yeah, what I'm talking about is the new reel, right? Because it's gonna have that.
No, we're going to have more and more live events on Facebook and shows, and we're going to sell more music online for sure.
Yeah. Do you know, Paulo, do you know the Hogan brothers?
I heard, not super familiar, but yes, that name rings a bell.
Check out what they're doing for their live stuff.
The Hogan brothers. I will.
The Hogan, I mean, they're an amazing group, but they have, it's keyboards, drums, and bass, electric. And I've seen they did a show indoors and outdoors. They're all in the same place though, you know. But the way that they've dealt with the drum kit and how they mic'd it, you know, they're that middle place, like 4 mics maybe. And they do the way they deal with the bass, and you put that on like a little Bluetooth speaker, even out of a MacBook, like what they're getting, that sound quality is pretty damn good.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I'm chasing that route for sure. Yeah. All right. Good night, guys. Thank you so much.
Yay.
I'll see you next time.
Boa noite.
Valeu. Boa noite.
Miss you guys.
Miss you too.
Yay, same here.